what it is, what it is. Oh my word, it is hot outside today. Yes sir. I just got through doing some weed eating, and yeah, I tried to do a couple of live streams earlier with the video games. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take them down because there's a lot of other talking and stuff going on the inside. It was really lagged, so but yeah, so I get asked quite a bit, what is my favorite truck to drive? And so I've driven quite a few. Max, I've had a Peterbilt or two, a Volvo, International, and Freightliner. So I definitely know a little bit about these trucks. So been there, done that. My personal favorite though, I don't know if I would say that I actually have a personal favorite truck to drive or not, but so I do have some qualms with some of the trucks that I have driven, and one of the things that I have, which is most common among fleet trucks, and I was listening to a post by Jay Cannell last night, and he was saying that, you know, a lot of the fleet trucks, you know, they're just workhorses. They're plain. They're, you know, there's nothing special about them. But you know, I've had some fleet trucks that were just really freaking awesome. So I don't know, you know, if there's something specific that he's referring to as far as what he doesn't like. Jay, if you happen to watch this video and you have something specific that you just really dislike about a lot of the trucks, just, you know, don't mind, put it down there in the trash pit and let me know. As for me, I've owned a Volvo, I've owned a couple of Cascadias. I've looked at purchasing an International. Currently, I'm actually driving for a company called Mesilla Valley Transportation. I'm a local driver right now with the company, just because I gotta get some stuff fixed on my license, and then once that's done, about 103 more weeks. Yeah, got a DOT reportable on me. I ran over a car in Memphis. It was a bad day for me that day. But yeah. So when I get that fixed, I'm planning on going back over the road. I see we got a couple people watching now. Just want to say, hey guys, stick around. We're discussing what trucks are best on the road right now, and I may even touch base about the new Nikola 1 that's coming out in the near future. So basically, what I've said up to this point, if you're just now joining in, is I've driven quite a few trucks. I've been around the industry for about 10 years, so I've been in the cab of a lot of different types of trucks. My favorite truck by far is the Volvos. Now we're talking Cadillacs to Pintos here. I love the Volvo. And I was mentioning in a post that Jay Cannell had put up last night, or not last night, that I had watched last night, but he had put up, where he was talking about the 780. And yeah, man, that was one of my favorite trucks. In fact, I had bought one at one time on a lease program that I actually had to walk away from because of some personal family issues that was going on. But so if I do go back into another situation where I'm going to be an owner-operator, and I'm looking at it in maybe 103 weeks when my license gets fixed, about going back on the road. And if I do go back on the road, I'm not going as a company driver, I'm going as an owner-operator. And the truck, I already know what they're looking at already. or what I'm looking at already as far as equipment when I do go back, because I'm gonna have to lease a new truck and everything. But I'm looking at the Kenworth T680. Now I've got a friend that's got one right now, and I've actually looked at some of the newer ones that are out there, and I have to admit they seem really nice, man, with the PACCAR engines in them. They got the TV mounts already on the inside. There's a whole lot of features, built-in refrigerator, and the company that I'm going for will automatically put in an inverter right off the bat. So I don't think it's going to be that bad. Now, what I miss about my Volvo is all the room that I had. I was able to have basically a couch, a table, a bed. I had my TV in there. I didn't have a fridge. I wanted a fridge, but I've seen or heard something about how they're redoing some of these newer trucks, and I think it's fantastic, because we've had the same old jalopies. It's a southern term. If you're not from the South, I apologize. It means piece of junk. We've had the same pieces of equipment out on the road for far too long, and yeah. So a lot of people love the Peets. I personally, I don't really have a problem with the way they run. They got great engines and great transmissions, and they can pull. They, you can go forward and reverse like Jay said in his video. But me personally, I don't like the way the clutch is arranged inside the cab, coming up out of the floor instead of hanging like most all the other trucks. I just feel a little awkward pushing down on it, so it's just not my cup of tea. That's my opinion, and of course all of this is just my opinion, and opinions are like buttholes. Everyone's got one, they all stink. But so the international, I'm driving an international day cab right now, and it's not really that bad of a truck. I mean, it's the worst truck of the day cabs that we have at Mesilla Valley, but I make the most of it. And you know what? I was looking at the fuel report. I get a daily fuel report saying what our miles per gallon are per driver in the fleet. And on my particular truck, I'm getting 7.663, I believe is what it is, as of Friday. So, and I still have about 15 days left in the month, and we'll see what it is. Now, supposedly there's supposed to be a fuel bonus for the lowest or for the highest fuel mileage. So that's one of the things that I'm working on right now, is trying to increase my fuel mileage. So I've slowed down, I'm progressive shifting, I'm not riding the brakes, I'm letting it coast as far as I can. I'm doing every trick in the book to try to get that fuel mileage up. One of the people who's been there for about 6 or 7 years in the day cab, I think they're getting about 4.5, 5 miles to the gallon. The guy that I rode with on my first day, which was last Monday, he's getting about, I want to say it's 6 something, and I apologize for the noise in the back. I got a dehumidifier going. I'm fixing to get a dip of snuff. I dip Copenhagen. So anybody want to take a Coke break and go for it. So I really enjoy driving for the most part, and these trucks, with the way they're being designed now, it's really pushing me to want to go back on the road. I was looking at the new, and I said we'd probably talk about it, but yeah, I already knew I was going to wind up going into it anyways. But I was looking at the Nikola 1 that's going to be coming out, the hydrogen cell truck, and the way it's designed with the mid-cab entry and everything, built-in refrigerator already. I think they said it was a 40-inch curved TV. If anybody watching knows for sure, just go ahead and post it in the chat and let me know. Can't think of what else. I think it had power outlets throughout, inverters and everything. So yeah, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a really great, really great truck, and I'm looking forward to, when it does come out. I'm looking forward to trying driving it as much as I can. Now, one of the things that I am concerned about, and I think most of the other drivers out here should be as well, is the use of autonomous trucks that's going to be coming up pretty soon in the future. And I think my camera moved. I'm going to try to readjust it back a little bit. So the autonomous trucks is a bit of a concern for me. Now, from what I understand after watching a video on it last night and doing some studying and research on it, you're still going to need drivers to navigate the truck out to the highway and then set it in the autonomous mode, which is fine, but I'm still afraid that it's going to wind up pushing me out of a job. That's just point blank. And I have worked too hard to try to get this career going to lose it now. So, yeah. So, I want to hear from you guys a little bit too. I don't see anything going on in the chat, so I don't even know if you guys can hear me or not. If you can, just give me a thumbs up and post something in the chat there, so I'll know that you're able to hear me. I want to know what your favorite trucks are. So also, put that down in the comments as well. Let me know what your favorite truck is and why. How long have you been driving? Just different things like that. Because I'm always interested in meeting other truckers and listening to some of their stories. So, yeah. So it's always interesting when you get started, because you don't know what to expect in a truck. That's why I'm putting this out, because a lot of new drivers don't really know what they're coming into. I remember my first truck, I got lucky. I started in 2007, and they actually put me in a 2007 brand new Volvo 670. And I remember one of my first solo trips out, and this is just a trucking story right off the bat about this truck. I made a mistake. I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. I was up in Connecticut, I believe it was. I was on a toll road or something like that. I can't remember. But anyways, I was on a toll road. I remember that much. But I was going to a Walmart, trying to find something to eat or something. So I left out and I got on this little patch of back road, and while I'm heading to Walmart, I wound up getting on the side of getting on a side road that was not truck friendly. And I mean, it actually had the sign there that said no trucks allowed. Oh. And I was like, we just went from a 4-lane to a 1-lane. What the hell am I going to do now? So, rookie driver at the time, and we've all started off as rookies. So if you're a rookie driver, don't think bad. It's going to be okay. Hang in there. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days, and it's just going to get better from there. Trust me. In fact, most of my days now are good days, and the only stressors I have is when I'm dealing with 4-wheelers or a shipper or a receiver. I don't even deal with brokers anymore because I think they're POSs. So, but yeah, so I'm going down this 1-lane road, and it was a bad day for me. I wound up finding this little cutout that I was going to try to swing around in. Now, let me give you some advice on a 5-foot wide road, 8-foot wide road, whatever the hell it is. don't think you can turn a big truck and trailer around by making a U-turn. It doesn't work. Now remember, when I was doing it, I was sitting looking out the window, and I was looking in the mirror, and I looked, and when I looked out the driver's side window, I was like, there is some idiot following me around through this turn. What the heck is he doing? And I remember I leaned up and I looked, and I realized at that point, oh, that's me. That's my trailer that's coming around on me. So I managed to get out of that hole and got straightened back out, and a police officer had pulled up and he goes, are you looking for Lowe's? I'm like, no, I was actually going to Walmart. He goes, same difference, it's right down the road. Says, just head on straight down here. When you get to the stop sign, take a right, and you'll come down a hill. When you start down the hill, you'll see a bridge. It'll say a weight. I don't know what the weight limit is, but just to make sure you make it across, gun it coming off the hill so you get up enough speed, and you'll cruise right on across. And so I was like, oh, interesting. Okay. So I made it out of that situation, got back, and you know, the only thing I really did damage-wise to the truck was the fairing on the driver's side. I had busted some of the little holders loose, and I didn't know this about Volvo, but they use stoppers. That's all it is. And rubber stoppers with a screw that's screwed into it that makes them expand, and you just pop them in the little things, and that's it. And it holds it on there. So I just, every so often, I had to just stop and pop it back on. But yeah, that was my first day out, or my first trip out, and I was a rookie driver. So know that it does happen. And the reason I say I had a chance to actually look at some of my demographics just a few moments ago, and it was the age groups are 18 to 24. So if you're thinking about trucking, it is a fun career. You will enjoy it. Get in it. Have fun. It's kind of hard when you have a family. I have a wife and 4 children, with 1 on the way. So right now I've kind of chose to be local because my wife is pregnant. But when the baby comes, I'm planning on spending a year more. That's the 103 weeks. That'll be the end of my 103 weeks is that next year, and I'll be heading back on the road again. So and I just got through weed eating. That's the reason why my nose is itching. I'm all allergied out right now, so I apologize if you see my hands keep going toward my face. That's the reason why. Yeah, so that was a Volvo that I drove. Fantastic truck. Loved it. Now, I had signed on with Bay & Bay Transfer, and I had actually purchased, or was leasing, a I think it was a 2012 Freightliner Cascadia, and they had it all decked out. They had the 2500 watt inverter in it, APU unit on the truck, so I didn't have to auto the truck. They had a dorm room size refrigerator in the truck. I was like, wow, man, this is fantastic. There's no reason for me not to love this truck. And I did. I loved the truck. It was fantastic. The only thing I hated about it was the APU. I couldn't keep a belt on it. And if you don't know what an APU is, it's an auxiliary power unit. And it just attaches to the side frame of the tractor. And it allows you to run your AC, charge your batteries, run your heat, without actually having to idle the engine. So, and it is a diesel-powered engine on this APU unit. So, for some reason, the gears kept eating the belts up. And I even went and got new pulleys and everything else, and it kept busting the belts on it. And, yeah, it was horrible. I think I spent like $3,000 on it trying to get the damn thing fixed. And, you know what, I finally gave up, and I was like, you know, $2,000 more I could have had a brand new one installed. So, that was a waste of money. Now, I got a buddy who's still with Bay & Bay, and he's got that T680. That's how I know what truck it'll be when I go back. And that is the company I am planning on going back to in 103 weeks whenever I do go back on the road, if at that point in time I do decide to go back OTR. They're a fantastic company and have a fantastic lease program. So if you're looking for a new company that's going to pay you right, and maybe you're considering leasing a truck, check out Bay and Bay Transfer. They're fabulous. Tell them that Eric said y'all are fantastic. Eric Jones said y'all are fantastic. And put my buddy down as a reference. He gets a bonus every time that somebody comes in. That's Isaac Ellis. Put down Isaac Ellis as a reference, or as a referral. But yeah, so the Kenworths are great trucks to drive. They're power horses, but they're really small on the inside. That's why I personally don't like the Kenworths. Now, what I had planned on doing, and I actually sat down and I talked to my wife about it last night, was getting one of these T680s and getting it paid for. It's only going to take like 4 years payments to pay it off, and then once it's paid for, getting it traded in for a 780. Maybe pushing out another 10, 15 years with that. But you know, and that was one of the things that Cannell was talking about, was after about 5 years when the warranty runs out, trade. You know, I don't really care to have one that's brand spanking new. I would rather have one that's got 150, 200,000 miles on it already, for the simple fact that it's really just getting broke in. A brand new truck, you have to expect problems coming out of the gate with wire stretching and this, that, and the other. So yeah, it's not a good idea to buy a brand new one. So the owner of my company did give some advice though. If you drive it like it's broke, it'll never break. If that makes sense. So, yeah. So that's pretty much it right there. Now, oh yeah, and the Peterbilts. Now this is where a lot of drivers will get butthurt if they're watching this, because I know that's the fan favorite. Oh, I love my Peterbilt. I love the Peterbilt. Screw the Peterbilt. You know, they're alright, but they're not my cup of tea. I drove a 379. I think it was a 379 Pete, and it's big, it's bulky. I had a hard time turning it, and it's an older Pete, and I hadn't drove one of the newer Petes. Now I have drove one of the day cab Petes, and I didn't care for it either. It's a lot different than the Freightliners that I'm used to, but the Peterbilts, I just really don't care for them at all. So, and the Max, if I'm in the city driving and I've got a small day cab Mac, I'm fine. You know, I'll pull it. I'll do it. You know, well, that matter, any truck, I'll do it. You know, if it's what I've got to work with, then I'll just do it. But my preferred is always going to be the Volvo. I fell in love with the Volvo. That was the first truck I ever drove when I came into the, well, it wasn't the first truck I ever drove when I came into the industry. I was in old Eagle International, and I actually trained when I went out with a trainer. I went out 6 weeks with a trainer in a Freightliner Classic XL, and I found out that I hate long nose trucks. So I won't do the long nose trucks anymore. No, I would rather have something that is boxy. And you know, the word of mouth is that the Volvos aren't sexy. To me, I think they're very attractive trucks. They're very beautiful trucks. I like the squared off looks of the Volvo. I like the room and the comfort on the inside. The Volvo engine, it sometimes can have quirks, but I haven't really had too many problems out of it. Now, this California emissions bullcrap, the DEF and the regen system, I've had issues out of that with several trucks. I personally, I think we ought to get rid of it and go back to the standard straight out diesel and run the wheels off. But that's just me. So the Volvos are always going to be at the top of my list. Now I think probably the close second would have to be the Freightliner. And I like the Cascadia class. I've driven the Columbias, I've driven the Coronado, I've driven the Century, but yeah, I like the Cascadias. I think they're really sharp looking trucks. They're beautiful, and if you get a good combination. See, I had the DD15 engine and the DT10 transmission, I think is what it is. And man, that was just a workhorse. I'd run off and leave a lot of trucks in the dust, you know, climbing hills, and when it come time to power through a hill. I dropped down 9th gear on Mont Eagle Pass. I had to think for a second. Coming up Mont Eagle Pass or Wolf Creek Pass, you know, I wouldn't have to drop down too much to just climb the hill, and that was something that, you know, I was really impressed with this truck, and that was when I was under probably about a 35,000 pound load, you know. I think the lowest I ever come down was like 8th or 7th gear. So I've seen them come all the way down to like 5th and 3rd gear coming up these hills. And, you know, and I used to drive a, what was it? Below the Pete, the 379 Pete I used to drive. I'd come up Mont Eagle Pass here in Tennessee on I-24, and I'd have to drop. It didn't matter what load I had on it. If I was bobtail, I'd have to downshift. I just no, I just didn't like it. So the Internationals, there's really no in-cab storage with those, so I don't really care for them too much. Now they do drive nice. Hey Joshua. They do drive nice, but you know, it really depends. Like I said, right now I'm driving an International day cab, and it'll get the job done. I would still prefer to have my my Volvo. I miss my Volvo, so maybe one day I can get back in my Volvo, but. Yeah, so this is, I had 1 week down, and I was just playing around, seeing if my wife's webcam would work, and I found out that it would. And I did the same thing earlier this morning, but it was really dark because everybody was in bed and I was having to whisper. But now I can talk at full volume and everything. So I got one of my buddies just popped in here. So Josh, give me some thumbs up, love out there, brother. Let me know that you still feel me. In fact, everybody just give me some thumbs up love as well. He says, rest in peace, Dale, Dream Team, right? Yeah, so before I came back to trucking, me and Josh, we worked at Dell. He had moved off to Chicago. He was the first of our little group to take off, and so I stuck around for a little while, and they were talking about moving me up the chain. So they made me the Mobility SME, and what that is the subject matter expert. Now I still, you know, I mess around with the mobile devices and whatnot, but yeah. So then they started talking about maybe moving me into a team lead, and I went and I talked to one of the new managers, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're fixing to do away with all the overtime, and it's just not going to be there anymore, and you're just going to be on straight time." And I was like, "So what about a raise then?" "Oh, well, we're not going to give you a raise because you're where you're at, and that's all you're going to make." Really? Piss on you! I quit. So that was one of the pushing factors to get me back in a truck quick. The other was I was told that if I didn't get in a truck within the next 12 months, the 10 years of experience that I have behind me already, out the window. No, I'm not going to lose 10 years of experience in my career just because I have a licensing issue. So that's the reason why I come back into the truck. So it was kind of a bittersweet departure, though. I had still some friends that were left. There was some definite good people, and I just made a new friend that I thought the world of. Had to leave out of that. So, with that being said, you know, it's led me back into what I enjoy doing. I think that this is going to be it for me for the rest of my life. I'll probably just drive a truck. My ultimate goal in retirement anyways was to buy one that had a 102-inch sleeper on the back and just stay on the road all the time. And that was my end game goal from the day I first started driving to now. So I think in 103 weeks, that's what I got left. Cause 2 years. That's all I needed was 2 years, and so 103 weeks, and I'll more than likely I'll either go back on the road or I'll stay another year and then go back. It's going to be hard because and I don't know if you know this, Joshua, or not, but my wife is pregnant, and it was our 5th child. So, yeah, I kind of want to spend a little bit of time with the new baby before I go back over the road. So, and I'm excited to be a father again. My children are always the #1 priority in my life. So, without my children, I'm nothing. So, hey, so that's fantastic, dude. I'm glad to hear that you were able to get into something, that, and I haven't heard of Echo Global, but yeah, man, you ought to go get a CDL and jump out here on the road with me, homie. Make some money with me. We won't know if it's a boy or a girl for another. Not this doctor visit, but the next doctor visit should be sometime in August when we find out for sure. I'm thinking it's going to be a boy, so we've already got the boy name. The boy's name is going to be Elijah Gray. I told my wife, and I've been joking around with her, I've been calling it Hank for the last month. So when Hank gets here, and I don't care if it's a boy or a girl, I'm still going to call it Hank. It's going to be my final baby, so I'm going to give her some hell on it. But yeah, when Hank gets here, it's going to be fantastic, I think. So, but I'm hoping for a boy. If it's another girl, that's fine with me. I just would really rather have more testosterone than estrogen. King of the hill, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I told my wife, I says I was going to name it Elijah Gray Henry Jones and just call it Hank. But she's patient with me. She hasn't killed me yet, and I've been calling it Hank. In fact, I've actually gotten her calling it Hank too. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I got a friend that's. I got a friend that's making a baby blanket for me, and she's going to be sending it to me in the mail. Yeah. Okay. So you know about me. You know about me and my camo Fridays. I went back to doing that again. Now I'm doing it with the truck. I'll dress normal t-shirt, pants during the week, and then Friday I come in my my camo shorts, my camo shirt, camo hat. yeah, talk about the nudes all the day long. It's great, dude. It's great. Yeah, so like when I was going through the orientation that Friday, I come in and says, We had another driver here, but I can't see him no more. I says, hey, didn't you get the memo? Y'all get casual Friday. I get camo Friday. But yeah, so we got a new, well, I say we. When I was with Dale, we had a new girl come in, and she is actually making a baby blanket for me. Now this baby blanket, it's huge. It, like, I don't know. Let's see if you can. It's huge blanket, and it's camouflage. She found a camo pattern yarn. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's awesome. So it's camo patterned, and in the dead center, it's got blaze orange, a buck, antlers and all, right in the dead center. And I'm like, yes, that is the baby blanket for me to give to my baby. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. It should be here hopefully soon. She said she was about finished with it last time I talked to her, so I'll have to get Robert to give me her email so I can email her. But yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah. So I'm interested to hear from you, Josh. I hadn't talked to you in a while, homie. You're working for Echo Global Logistics. What do you do for Echo Global? Yeah, I miss having you around. You know, I use that phrase that you used to walk around saying all the time. It looks like I need to reintroduce your brain to your mouth because you're talking out your butt. Yeah, I miss having fun, dude. I really do. It got great. It got real great there for a minute, dude. If you had just come back, for one more week, you would have seen it. It got so much better. Andy had come in and changed everything there, and it was really cool. It was really cool. I really enjoyed being a part of that team. Unfortunately, my time had run its course because they didn't want to retain me. So I had to do what I had to do. So the highway was calling, and I was more than happy and willing to come back to the highway. So but yeah, so I want to, while I'm waiting to see if we're going to get that response back from Josh on what exactly he does there. So this new autonomous truck is taking short. So there was a fleet of 6 trucks that drove Rotterdam, I think is what it was. Drove from Sweden to Rotterdam, and I was like, 6 trucks on the road without a driver, driving from Sweden to Rotterdam. And they've already had one successful, from the last I've seen, they had one successful route through Colorado. It was a Budweiser load carrying beer through Colorado with no driver in the seat. And I had heard, and I don't know if it's true because I haven't done a whole lot of research on the autonomous trucks, but I had heard that Walmart was using autonomous trucks to move some freight around on the West Coast. Now, me personally, if you want to keep them out in California, that's fine. California doesn't exist on my map. In fact, I tell people when I get to the Arizona state line, the Arizona-California state line, or wherever I'm crossing into California, I stop. I send a message back to my fleet manager. Hey, y'all might want to get somebody out here who can drive on water, because California don't exist to me. The same as New York City. I don't go to the boroughs. The hell with that. It's too tight. And they're definitely not trucker friendly. No, neither California nor the boroughs are trucker friendly, so I won't go to either. So Josh says that he's a client support representative. Okay. Yeah. So, so it sounds almost like a brokerage that you're working for. Um, yeah, I don't deal a whole lot with brokers, man. I'll be honest with you. In fact, the last time I dealt with a broker, I got stuck at a place because they don't want to pay. They, you know, I was on time, quote unquote on time, but when I backed into the dock and actually went in and did all my paperwork and everything, I come back out, I had forgotten to call the broker and let them know that I had arrived. Now, I put my check call in on my computer, on the Qualcomm. I had a Qualcomm in the truck, and I put my time in on the Qualcomm. I contacted my dispatch, and I had checked in and already backed into the dock. They'd already assigned me a dock, but I forgot to call the broker, and the broker called me. And I says, "Oh, yeah, I forgot to call. I totally apologize. Brain fart moment. Sorry." I said, "But since you're calling me, I was actually fixing to call you guys because I've been in the dock for 2.5 hours and I'm still not loaded yet. What kind of extra pay am I going to get for sitting here?" Because I called my dispatch and they told me that I need to talk to the broker about the extra pay because they were the ones that was going to be putting it on my check. And the broker says, "Oh, well, since we're just now talking to you, we're marking you as being late, and there is no detention pay." So, yeah, check calls are very important, man. If you're coming into the industry and you're new, you want to make sure that if you do have a broker load, you definitely want to make sure that you do the check calls. They usually like to have a call when you get assigned the load so they can give you the details. They want to call when you arrive at the shipper or consignee. Well, we'll start from the beginning of the load. They want to call a check call so that they can give you the information. They want to call when you arrive at the shipper. They want to call if you're late arriving, and the reason being so that their customer service people can reach out to the consignee or to the shipper and let them know, "Hey, we got a driver en route. They're running a little behind, but they will be there shortly." They want to call if you've been sitting in the dock for more than 2 hours, most of them, but they're trying to push on to 3 and 4 hours. And for us, well, not so much for the local guys, but for the road drivers, it's a horrible thing because if you're sitting, you ain't making any money. And after sitting for 4 hours, you figure at 60 miles an hour. That's what I average all of my speed out anyways. So at 65 miles an hour, you've lost 240 miles. So 240 miles, at a standard, rate of pay, even a lower rate of pay is, 35 to 38 cents a mile. You're losing a crap ton of money by just sitting there in that dock. So yeah, I mean, detention pay is something that I am very, very much so on. If I'm a road driver, I'm going to get detention pay if I'm sitting for more than 2 hours in a dock. And if I get stranded somewhere and I don't have a load, you best believe I'm going to get layover pay as well. And I make sure I get it, Now, one of the suggestions, I was listening to the trucking exec about brokers. He just did a post about brokers. I think it was last night or yesterday, and I was watching it, and he's spot on. That cat, he's sharp when it comes to the trucking industry. He's very, very knowledgeable about it. And the brokers, they are pushing, trying to get more time out of the drivers so that they don't have to pay the driver anymore. But he gave a suggestion of creating your own terms and conditions to submit to the brokers. And that's something that, I never really thought of. And he's right. As he was sitting there talking about it, I was like, I don't know about this, man. I don't know. I'm a little scared and a little nervous to do that. I mean, what if he gets mad at me and tells me that he'll just find another carrier? You know what? There is more freight being moved right now than I can shake a stick at. So if they don't want me to carry their load, and they get John Smith from over here at Swift or Schneider to run their load for them, more power to them. They can have it, because I'm not going to deal with it. I'm just not going. I'm not going to deal with it. I got enough to worry about with trying to just keep up with things. Josh, I'll answer that question about the implementations. I'll send you a message on Facebook, and we can catch up there on Facebook with that. Because a lot of it was internal, and I'm not sure that with the way that NTT has things structured and everything, and Honeywell and Dell, with all their agreements and stuff, if that's information that I can actually share live. But yeah, I'll definitely I'll hit you up and let you know what all happened and what all changed, and what was set to go forward in a private message through Facebook. But yeah, so back to these autonomous trucks, man. Like I said, I haven't heard, but I've heard, but I hadn't done the research. But it seems like Walmart is going to be one of the big pushers, and with them being a global power, it's very relevant. So I mean, they have bought governments. In my personal opinion, they bought governments off. That's how they're able to come into some of these small towns and take them over, and they pretty much destroy the economy in a lot of these small towns. Now, with the implementation of the autonomous trucks, I don't know if you were in here earlier, Josh, or not when I was talking about it, but so it from what I've understood, it still requires a driver to get the trucks to the road, and then once they're on the road, the driver can set the automation, and it'll take over from there and drive on out. And these trucks are so good that they can actually get close enough to draft off of one another and increase fuel mileage. In quite the same way as you would see in something like NASCAR or something like that. And that to me is scary. It's very scary. Because, I mean, it's not so much scary that I'm going to look up and I'm going to see a truck driving down the highway without a driver in it. That doesn't scare me. What scares me is I've put 10 years of my life into this industry to make as much money as I could, and I've already got the FMCSA coming down and telling me when I can drive, how I can drive, what hours, when to take my breaks, and I don't appreciate that. Really, I don't. And I've done some reconsideration. You know, I've got a post. I got a video on here where I was talking about hours of service, and you know, one of the things about it that I wanted to get rid of for sure was the 30-minute break. You know, within 8 hours, you've got to take a 30-minute break to reset your 8-hour clock so that you can keep driving for your 11 hours. Well, I think it's BS, because when I first started off, we didn't have that. You could drive your full 11 hours, and you know, you could get 660, 670 miles, you know, in a day easily. If you were in a governed truck, you know, a truck governed at 65 miles an hour, you can get easily 660 to 670 miles in any given day, and you were able to make some pretty good money with it like that. But now they're forcing us to come off the highway and log a 30-minute break, and you have to get out of your truck in order to classify that as an off-duty break, because if DOT happens to be driving through the parking lot of the truck stop or rest area or wherever the heck you are that you're taking your 30-minute break, and they see you sitting behind the wheel, they're going to nail you with a ticket. And I've got enough on my license to tell you that it can ruin a career. Just one little mistake can ruin a career. But I was thinking about, you know, the 70-hour rule, where you can only work 70 hours in a work week, or you have to run recapped hours. And the more I got to thinking about that, the more I was like, why? If I'm out here running recapped hours, where my hours from the first day roll back into my time clock so I can run those hours, why not just do away with the 70 hours? Let us run, you know, 180 hours in a week. You know, a local guy probably, like me, probably doesn't have to worry about it too much, because we're going to be, you know, taking our weekends off and stuff such as that. But yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous with some of the regulations that we have on us, and the brokers, they don't make it any easier on us because they don't want to pay us. They don't want to pay us jack. They just want the freight moved. So that's that. So we've got the I saw the rule about okay, so there's a new implementation with the newer trucks and stuff that's coming out, and the new regulations, that in the near future I've heard that all companies will have to be e-logs. When they do go to e-logs, they'll have to run 11 hours, because they won't be able to run anything more than 11 hours. Now, you do have some of the rogue cowboys out here that still, you know, they'll cook the books, or they'll falsify the logs, and they'll run more than 11 hours. You know, they'll run 13, 14 hours a day. They'll make a trip from Laredo to Nashville, for instance, in a single day. And by law, you can't do that. There's just not enough hours in the day to run that many miles. But they'll do it. So yeah, it does happen where drivers do disobey the 11-hour rule. Don't get caught with it, because that's a hard fine. You got to keep in mind that these logs, the logs that you're using, they're not just a company document, they're a federal document. So if you get caught falsifying them, that's a federal offense, man. That's you're looking at possible prison time for falsifying logs, especially if you have them signed, because your signature is a bond to the federal government saying that I attest that these hours that I worked are true and accurate 100%, and you know that's your butt on the line with signing those logs. So you got the 11-hour rule where you can only drive 11 hours. You got the 14-hour rule that you can only drive 11 hours within a 14-hour time clock of the day, and a 70-hour rule stating that you can only drive 70 hours, or you can only work 70 hours a week. Now, if you're on duty not driving, you can work indefinite. They don't care if you work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, if you log in on duty not driving. But in order for you to go back into drive time, you've got to take a 34-hour restart to reset your clock so that you can go back to driving for 11 hours. That'll reset. That'll clear out all the time that you did in the previous 8 days, and put you back to a 0, 0, 0. So you'll have a full 70, 14, and 11 hours that you can drive. So there are, for lack of better terms, a bunch of cowboys that still run out there and do that. I have been known to do it when I was on paper logs, but with the implementation of the e-logs, I don't do it. I can run recap hours and make just as much money running recaps as I can anything else. In fact, when I was with The previous company that I was OTR with, I was actually running recapped hours, and I'd stay out for 6, 8, 10 weeks at a time before I come home, and I never run out of time. I never took a 34-hour restart. I never had to reset my 70. But when I came home, I'd take about a week or two off, or not 2 weeks, but I'd take a week off, and I'd spend it with the family, and we do things. We go to the beach or whatever like that, and I'd just rest. And you know, usually the first day home, I spend sleeping, getting caught up on the sleep and everything. But then the next 3 to 5 days, whatever it is, I'd spend it with the family, and then I'd gear up on the last day to be heading back out. I'd do my grocery shopping, make sure all my clothes was washed, my bedding was clean, and I'd reload everything back up in the truck, and I'd get back on it. So it's definitely been a learning experience in the last 10 years to figure a lot of this stuff out. But one of my concerns, you know, now that I'm sitting there thinking about it, I'm a human driver and I make mistakes. Sometimes we'll go down a road that we're not supposed to be going down in a big truck, and you know, that's just a curious question, and maybe, you know, somebody would have an answer for me one day, and I may jump in on a couple, you know, Jay Cannell or Trucking Exec or Red Viking Trucker or whoever, and see if they have any input on it. But the autonomous trucks, how are these things navigated? I mean, if they come up to a stop sign, a left turn, put you on a road that's not allowed for trucks, you know, does the truck's navigation system know that and prevent that truck from making that left-hand turn? If the GPS in that truck says that the shipper is 2 miles down that road, that seems to me like it could cause a little bit of issues. Now, I have been in some warehouses where they do use the robots and stuff that are completely autonomous and move their product around the warehouse, and it's very fascinating to watch these robots because they never crash, they never have, you know, and it's all laid out in a grid formation. Because I was talking to one of the guys in one of the warehouses, and I was like, how do these things know where to move the freight, where to set it, and everything? They said, well, the whole warehouse was put off in a grid form, so, and it was programmed into the navigation of these robots. So to get down to the microscopic level, I guess, road by road, on how these trucks are supposed to be navigated, is kind of something that's a little concerning to me. So that's just something that just happened to pop in my head, and that happens from time to time. I do get a wild thought that kind of just creeps in on me. So but yeah, the newer trucks that I'm looking at now, the Tesla truck, which is the full electronic truck, electronic drive and everything, that looks very interesting to me. You got the Nikola One that's going to be coming out. I think I heard something about the next 6 months to a year. We should start seeing these hydrogen-powered trucks on the road, and a lot of the fuel stations are supposed to be going to hydrogen, or having hydrogen fuel stations put in for these trucks. And it only takes like 15 minutes to completely fill it up. And with the Nikola One, you're supposed to get 1,200 miles max out of these trucks. So that's something that's pretty cool, man. But I think it'll probably do away with the fuel bonus, because you won't be able to. There's not going to be a fuel bonus for these. I have a feeling. Oh, you're in the hydrogen truck, so there's not really a fuel bonus because you don't really get miles per gallon. We just know exactly how many miles you can run with this truck. 1,200 miles. So I think a lot of the driving habits are going to go away with some of these newer trucks. So, was there any other questions that I might can answer? You know, I would like to stay more toward the truck side of things. But I'm open to answer any questions. I guess this is kind of turned more into a Q&A type deal at this point. Just kind of read a little bit more of what all he's got wrote in. I hadn't really read all of them yet. Yeah, absolutely. Working with the shippers and the consignees. Oh yeah, and getting back to that, when you're dealing with these brokers, they want you to give a call. Every move you make, they want you to give a call. So it's definitely important if you're new to trucking and you get a broker load, that you make sure that you stay in contact with the broker at all times on everything. If you break down, call your company first. Obvious. Hey, I broke down. I got this going on. Blah yada yada. Then call the broker and let the broker know as well. Hey, I broke down, so you might want to contact the client and find out if it's okay if I come in a little bit later. A lot of times they will work with you. You'll probably forfeit some pay out of it, but they will work with you. So I think that's all I had to say about it today. If you have any other questions about it, just go ahead and mark it down here in the comments. I guess I could probably do it more in front. Mark it down there in the comments, and yeah, hey, it's good to hear from you, man. I thought you had fallen off the face of the planet. So the company I'm looking at going back to in the next year or two is up in Minnesota. So I'll be passing through Chicago quite a bit, man. Send me your number, man. I'll give you a shout sometime, dude. If I happen to be passing through Chicago, I'll give you a shout. Maybe we can get together and go grab a bite to eat. I know Chicago's got the best food in the world up there, so absolutely. So take care of yourself, Josh. It's good to hear from you. But yeah, any other questions, you can pop them in down here. You can send me messages through YouTube. If I happen to be in Facebook and you've got me as a friend on Facebook, or if you just search out for Jingo Transport, Facebook/Jingo Transport, and I'll put the I'll edit the description. I'll make sure I put that in there as well, so that you can subscribe to the Jingo Transport page as well. Just pop your questions in, and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you to the best of my ability. Granted, I've only got 10 years in the industry, so I don't have all the answers, but I do have a lot of friends that I've been driving for quite a while, and they'll definitely have answers that they can provide for me, or at least opinions. So that being said, I am the Highway Cowboy. Take it easy, be safe out there, and we'll holler at you on the flip side.